Today we're going to discuss the Westing Conversations assignment, which is the second part of the Chapter 12 activity. It comes after Westing texting. So that Westing Conversations is right here. Before we move on to talk about that though, I'd like to first go over the rubric. So in order to get full credit, you need to do several things. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for you so you can see what full credit looks like. Okay, so we have this section of the rubric. Here it tells us what the trait is, and then right here it tells us what an exemplary piece or an A+ piece would look like. So for conventions, it says writing follows the conventions of dialogue without exception. So that means that all of the time, every single part of your dialogue is going to follow the punctuation and formatting rules shown to you in the video about how to punctuate dialogue. It says writing evidences a clear, sophisticated structure. So this means that I can always tell who is speaking and I can always tell what they're saying and how they're saying it. And it says no errors in spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Pretty standard stuff. So fluency and performance down here. The dialogue seems smooth and natural. Ideas, characters, etc. from the story are expanded upon. So you're not just mentioning something, you're actually adding more to the story. It also says the dialogue is clearly focused and seems realistic. So it seems like something that could take place in the story, and everything is focused and it's not going off on tangents and down bunny trails. Creativity and voice. So for this one, you need to make sure that the dialogue could fit well as a new scene in the book and that it's written expertly. Each line of your dialogue needs to be tagged in an original way. And I don't want you to overuse the word said. So obviously, there are criteria to make it satisfactory, criteria to earn half credit, which would be improving, and then criteria for basic. However, we are all shooting for exemplary, and this is the section of the rubric that I really want you to focus on as you're writing. Okay, so for Westing Conversations, let's go ahead and look at these directions. Directions. From your Westing texting conversation, create a conversation between Doug and Theo that could take place face-to-face right up below. Then there are some reminders. You tag each line of dialogue, so to say who said it and how they said it. Refer back to the video and make sure that your conversation makes sense. So let's get started. Okay. So first things first. All right. If I'm looking at my text conversation that I already wrote, I started with Theo saying, "Hey Doug, can you talk now?" And then Doug saying, "No, but I can text. My dad is being super annoying right now. What's up?" So obviously this wouldn't be able to take place face to face, so I have to make some changes. So I'm going to start by doing that right now. All right, so this is my first line. I know I need to indent, so I'm going to push the tab key and indent there. All right. Theo poked his head into the Chinese restaurant and hissed loudly. Okay, so I'm explaining what he's doing. And the next thing that I'm going to do is add some of Theo's dialogue. So I'm going to put a quotation mark. Hey, comma, Doug, exclamation mark. Come here. Okay, so notice I have quotation marks around my text. Notice that I didn't need to use a comma to separate it from the tag explaining who said it and how they said it. Now I need to add in what Doug said. So I have to use the enter key. I need to indent. All right. Doug looked up and spotted his friend, period. As he came through the door, he said, and because I'm explaining what he said and it's part of the conversation, I'm going to put a comma, then quotation marks. My dad is being super annoying right now. I might want to add a little bit more. He keeps telling me to study, but I know I'm going to have an A on the test. What's up? Question mark, and then I'm going to put my quotation mark because that's where he finished talking. So notice that when I wrote in my text, I didn't have to punctuate or capitalize correctly because it was a text message, and that's a completely different genre or type of writing. But notice that as I'm writing dialogue, which is usually part of a story, I'm punctuating and capitalizing and putting everything exactly as it should be because a school assignment is definitely different from text messages. So those need to be written in a different style. So then what I would do is I would go ahead and continue. And so my conversation is going to be about how they think Turtle told on them that they were at the scene of the murder. And that's how that would go. And I would make sure to include all of the stuff that's in this dialogue and maybe even add a little bit more. And once I'm done with that, then I would turn it into the bin